Did you see Saw? We all saw Saw, and we all recognize the villainous little scamp Jigsaw. Well, now, Jigsaw is branching out from movie appearances and torture traps and into the world of children's playground equipment with Jigsaw Seesaws. Jigsaw Seesaws are made from Jigsaw's signature rusty pipes and toilet seats, and are built to stand up against the harshest outdoor weather and dulled saw blades. Do you want to play? Then buy Jigsaw Seesaws and have hours of delight with your friends. Hello and welcome to Horror Movie Talk.
An opinionated and accidentally funny horror movie review show. Go, 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 go.
Just took a stroll through the scraggly woods. He had no face! Horror!
Sabrina, don't just stare at it, eat it.
New theatrical releases always get priority.
But we also review older horror movies, both good and horrible.
Wow, that didn't sound good.
Yeah, welcome everyone.
Hey guys, good morning, afternoon, evening.
So, welcome to Horror Movie Talk. I'm Bryce Hanson.
And I'm David Day, the foremost apparition scared out of.
Check out our website at horrormovietalk.com. There you'll find links to our social media and all our past episodes. We post new episodes every Wednesday. If you want to call and leave us a voicemail,
Tell us
which you can hear later in the episode.
How much you hate us, how terrible we are, we accept all of that.
Call 682-253-4468. That number again is 682-253-4468. We've got a great show today. We're going to be talking about the original 2004 Saw.
The movie that started it all.
Did you see Saw?
I saw Saw. What's the most iconic part about this movie to you?
I mean, that headgear.
The headgear, sure. To me, it's without a doubt the posters. The posters set like a new standard for movie posters for all the Saw series, because they follow an aesthetic. They're all a white canvas and then some disgusting poop finger or something like that.
Poop mouth.
Got poop coming out your mouth.
Yeah. What was I going to say?
How do we do the show?
We start out by giving, if you're new to Horror Movie Talk, we start out by giving a brief review and our score for the movie before we get into spoilers. We score on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being a miserable dredge, where it makes you angry, 5 being an average film that hits all the expected marks, and 10 being so good it transcends genre boundaries. After we give our score, we'll get into spoilers and take a deeper dive into what we liked and hated about the film. And then later, we're going to be checking our voicemail in a segment we call Horror Movie Whoooorres. So this month, our patrons picked the patron selection movie for September, and it was Saw.
And there's a blockage.
Oh, like a big sausage.
It is. It's like a big sausage of...
Saw.
Yeah. So we saw Saw. Here's the trailer.
Someone there? I can hear you. Who is that? Who's in there?
Hello, Madam. Dr. Gordon. I want to play a game.
The Jigsaw Killer.
Paul, find the path through the razor wire.
Technically speaking, he's not really a murderer. He never killed anyone.
Dr. Gordon, your aim in this game is to kill Adam. If you do not, then Diana will die.
He finds ways for his victims to kill themselves.
sick of people who don't appreciate their blessings. I've given you a life purpose.
Looks like our friend Jigsaw likes to book himself front row seats to his own sick games.
He doesn't want us to cut through our chains. He wants us to cut through our feet.
Most people are so ungrateful to be alive. Not anymore. You are a drug addict. Do you think that is why he picked you?
He helped me. Don't believe Adam's lies.
Live or die. Make your choice.
I choose death.
As we were watching the trailer or listening to the trailer, Bryce, I was like, oh, so this is the start of trailers that give away the whole movie. Bryce was like, yeah, but what's there to give away in Saw? I'm like, what are you talking about, guy?
I mean,
there's so much to give away.
I mean, all the plot, I guess, but really, you see two guys chained into a room, and you're like, well, something bad's going to happen.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's true.
It's not going to be a happy ending, whatever it is. Saw can be found anywhere you can rent or buy movies online. I found it for free on one of those questionable streaming sites.
Tubby?
No, not Tubby. It was,
YouTube.
Pirate ship kind of thing.
Oh, wow. You shouldn't say that out loud. We should just beep that.
Well, it wasn't
Kookaburra that.
I didn't download it. I found a link to a website that had it streaming for free, and I would just assume that they paid the licensing for it. I mean, there's no way that I could know.
Well, okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I don't condone this, FYI.
I condone entrepreneurialism. Like, maybe it's just a small site that's really, trying to make its mark in the world.
Up and coming, doing better than Amazon, who's charging $4 for Saw. A little trick, just FYI, if you ever are about to rent a movie from Amazon, and you know how it almost always says $3.99 for the high definition one. If you go into more watch options under like your Fire Stick or something like that, a lot of times they'll have the SD version, the shitty definition version for $1 less. And you cannot tell the difference in quality. So just do that.
Like,
save yourself $1.
It's getting super compressed anyways.
Yes, it's an ultra compressed.
I don't understand how. I've never rented a 4K thing.
Oh, it looks glorious.
Does it?
Oh yeah.
Even streaming?
Oh yeah.
I would always question.
No, that. Yeah, that is actually worth it.
Really?
If you are intent on watching a 4K movie, then by all means, pay the extra double price. But to me, the movie is about the experience more. And I mean, the experience is helped by a higher definition, but you can't tell the difference between SD and HD on Amazon.
The 4K really brings out the subtle tones of the shit smears.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, this movie would not be a fun one.
Okay, so Saw is mainly about two strangers trapped in a high school boys' bathroom with a mysterious dead body. They're both chained to pipes just out of reach of each other, and the dead body in the middle of the room. They find that they're being toyed with by a villain named Jigsaw, who set up a trap to pit them against each other in a race against time. They're both left with the tool to escape, a saw blade too dull to saw through metal, chains, or pipes, but just the right sharpness to saw through an ankle. Wacky hijinks ensue.
Yeah.
First problem, does that really work? Like, a dull saw blade still cuts a little.
Oh, well, I mean, so like...
It's a difference between, this will cut in like about 20 seconds versus this will cut in an hour and a half.
No,
right?
With one of those pipe cutting saws, I could see, like, if it's hardened steel chain, that you're not getting through it with one of those fucking pipe cutter saws.
Yeah.
I mean, you really do. That's going to take some time. That's hard. It's not only steel, but it's hardened steel, and there's a lot of it.
Why not cut the pipe that it's attached to, though?
That thing was huge. And I mean, it's probably got poop in it.
Yeah, that's true.
Probably. I mean, that pipe had poop on the outside of it. I don't even want to know what's on the inside of it.
Saw has dulled over time. But it's still a good horror movie. It was the first film of the now well-established horror director-writers James Wan and Lee Winnell. It feels like a short film stretched to fill a feature-length film. And Wan and Winnell did make a short of Saw before this movie, but it was originally written as a feature-length script, and the short was just an excerpt from it, just one of the scenes.
That makes sense, yeah.
It's undeniable that this movie and its sequels have made a mark in the pantheon of horror movies based off this simple concept of catch-22 torture traps. The problem that the franchise faces and has had since the very beginning is the need to stretch out this simple premise with overly complicated labyrinthian plots and character motives.
I was going to say, this feels like a short that's been expanded into a full movie.
Right. It's like they put a short on one of those taffy pullers.
Yeah.
It's like, we gotta get all the
drippings.
Yeah.
Got to get all the drippings out of Saw. And it feels like a really sharp concept that has been dulled over, by being stretched into like this full feature length film when, actually have you watched a lot of these, horror, short channels on that show up on like r/horror or r/scary movies, where they'll take like a 3-minute short and just make a spooky thing out of it. Sometimes that shit works way better than a whole movie,
right?
Like just because it's all really, really sharp and compressed into a little ball of terror.
Yeah, if you think about it, like when you are actually scared, you're not scared for 2.5 hours.
No.
You're scared for like probably 5 minutes until you're actually confronted with something actually scary or figure out that it's nothing. So it's like doing a horror short kind of fills that like experience.
Yeah.
I think my favorite one was the I can't even remember what it's called, but it's like the lady is in her home alone. She's about to go to bed, and she turns off the light. She sees like a shadowy figure at the end of the hall.
Oh, yeah.
And then she turns it on and
lights
it's gone.
out.
Yeah, lights out.
Yeah.
I think that got picked up to be a feature-length film, but I can't imagine. It's just like...
It is a feature.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
How did they do that?
I don't know.
It's such a simple premise. It's
yeah.
Like just every 10 minutes or so, they do the same gag.
I don't know.
Anyways,
let me double check that.
The original Saw is a well-constructed film and has an engaging plot that unravels nicely over time. But at its heart, it's still a cheap exploitational premise. Not necessarily my bag, but I appreciate, game appreciates game.
Game appreciates game.
Like I appreciate
all the full feature length blockbuster films you've made. You get it. You Lee Winnell and what's his name?
Yeah, because they do need to impress me.
Give them a little head nod. What's up?
All right. Yeah. You said. Well, how did you describe Saw? Oh.
Yeah, I was talking to you last night, and I said, Saw what did I say? Saw is a movie that is set up to make you look at the movie poster and think one thing, and then impress the shit out of you with what it actually is.
Yeah.
But that's not saying much. Because you look at the movie poster and it's a white background with a hand laid on the floor and blood drips around it. And it says in rusty lettering, Saw. And you go, ew, this is going to be horrifically gross and nasty. And then within there's like quote unquote pithy, like intense plot, lots of plot, way more plot
it's a cat and mouse game.
Way more plot than the poster suggests.
Right.
And so you go, wow, because the poster set your expectations down here, way down here.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm going to go watch a snuff film. And then you get in there and it's a snuff film with pizzazz. And you're like, oh, wow. You're like Beetlejuice walking to that hot house where he's like, you know?
Yeah. I read on IMDb that this is originally filmed to be a straight to video release. And it got a wide release because it just screened so well in screenings.
Yeah, I could see that.
And so that when you put it in that context of this is built to be a straight to video horror movie, it is like probably the best. It would have been one of the best straight to video horror movies of all time.
Yeah, of all time. Yeah, by far.
But, you know, in terms of like, you know, overall, it's not a 10 out of 10 for me. It's not like it's not like one of the tent poles for me, even though it's like a huge franchise.
A huge franchise. It started Lee Whannell and James Wan's career, basically. And now James Wan did Aquaman.
Yeah.
You know, so these aren't, they're, and he's picky too, right? He's done, over the course of 15 or 20 years, he's done like 16 films. So it's not like he's cranking them out or anything like that. He's a picky guy, and he's a well-respected director. And so is Lee Whannell. But I don't know. This movie, you mentioned this before we started. This is like I'm 14 and this is deep kind of feel all over the place. It's like it knows who it's marketed to, and I know I don't have any problem with that at all. It's just it's not for me so much.
It's almost like if I watched Fight Club for the first time when I was in my 30s. Would I actually like it, or would I just roll my eyes and be like, "Oh my gosh"?
I think you would like it.
I think I would still like it, but there's a part of me that thinks like you saw that right at the right time.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Like you'll never. There's no movie that will match kind of that experience when you're just barely starting to turn the corner on being jaded about the world, and you have no life experience though.
Right. Nothing to weigh anything against, and so this is everything to you. Yeah. You know, like that's. I don't know. See, then there's like these universal truths in taste, which is like, for me, Jim Henson does it every time. He almost has never made something that I dislike, or that doesn't impress the shit out of me. Like Labyrinth and Dark Crystal are tentpole in my taste making, and so there's some stuff that I go, did I watch that at the right time? Was 7 the right time, the right age to watch Labyrinth? And the answer is yes, but also I can watch that movie every night now and go, this is a fucking brilliant movie and I love it.
Yeah, mostly because of Bowie's codpiece.
It doesn't hurt. It does not hurt. Having a solid David Bowie codpiece in there, it's never a bad... What are you giving this movie? What are you giving Saw?
So I was kind of like... back and forth. Sometimes I'm kind of like affected by the score that I assume
you should
people will want me to give.
Right.
Which, like, I'm sure that there's people that would expect, like, without question, this to be a 10 out of 10.
Some big names in this one, right?
Yeah.
Carrie Ewells.
Elwes.
I always call him Ewells. Danny Glover. Like, when is the last fucking time you seen Danny Glover? I had to go through his IMDb last night, and I was like, oh, dude, this dude has, for the last 15 years, he has only done the things that he wants to do, and they won't make any money at all. You won't see him in them because you won't know about him, but you know he's living his best life right now. Like, he's riding that Lethal Weapon wave.
Right. Yeah, I give it, you know, I was thinking about an 8, but I think I'm going down. Like, my heart is really set on a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, I think both of those are pretty like gratuitous. Like that's a lot.
This is definitely a better than average horror film.
Yeah,
like,
and for that
question.
reason,
and it's better than just slightly above average. It is significantly above average, but not great.
I disagree. It's not engaging to me. It barely held my attention on. It's not like I've seen Saw about like 20 times. I saw it once when it came out, and I was completely unengaged through the viewing of this. So I got to go with a 6 because I do acknowledge that it's. It is above average, but man, it does not age well with time. And
I think the first act is great. Like the first, several minutes of them just in the bathroom works out really great, and they unfold enough, this mystery. The second act is kind of like really is stretching it. Kind of unengaging because it's like, yeah, we're tracking down this guy, but he's got this. Look at all these other things that he did.
The chase sequences in this are just. They could benefit by watching a movie that came out, a great horror movie that came out about 9 years before this, Seven, which is one of the best horror movies and one of the best movies in general at making chase scenes.
Yeah, I mean, it's not fair to compare Seven to this because, I mean,
I'm not comparing Seven to this. I'm saying this could take a page out of Seven's book and make some better, some changes to some stuff, and it would work better.
Yeah, I think the final act is pretty good too. It kind of, it has a lull kind of in the middle, but I think there's good things throughout. I mean, I think it's engaging. I had seen it before and I wasn't super enthusiastic about watching it. I definitely did pause it in the middle and get Facebook distracted for a little while, checking out Horror Movie Talk group.
Yeah.
But
which is blowing up. If you haven't fucking joined the Horror Movie Talk group on Facebook, you got to get your priorities in order because it's just hot take after hot take in there.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, it is great.
Good people who don't argue with each other and are just nice and just, hey, have you guys seen this? What do you think? And it's like, yeah. I've seen enough people posting, you got to watch the Hannibal show. That I'm going to watch it.
Yeah, I watched the first episode and I was like, no thanks.
Oh, no.
I think the plot and the characters probably get a lot better as it goes on.
I think there's some pretty shocking shit that starts happening that really draws you in.
Oh, yeah. The first episode is I cannot believe they put this on primetime television.
Wow.
Broadcast. It is insane. They have a blood eagle.
Whoa.
In the first fucking episode.
Google Blood Eagle or don't if you want to know what that's all about. So my score for Saw is a 6 because I acknowledge that it's a good movie. It's better than average for sure, and it's groundbreaking in a lot of ways. It definitely paved the way for the aughts kind of torture porn-esque movies without being too over the top in many ways.
Yeah, James Wan said that wasn't his intention to make a torture porn film, but the later films, that's just what
they
it was.
go full that.
Yeah.
So it's just it's just like my opinion, man. I don't it does not hold my attention for very, very well at all.
Yeah. All right. Did we talk about Patreon, that this was a patron selection, Patreon?
Yeah, you did bring that up.
Yeah, for all you listeners that love Horror Movie Talk, check out our Patreon at patreon.com/Horror Movie Talk and check out the different tiers. There might be something that tickles your dickle. Goes anywhere from just getting our calendar to see what episodes are coming up to being able to vote on the movie that we watch in the next month and submitting movies to vote on. And then the most like desirable thing though is we have a whole separate podcast called the After Pod, where we just leave the mics running and talk about shit happening in our lives. And our lives are pretty much a dumpster fire this year, so it's very engaging and interesting. Tears are shed, cum is cummed.
Yeah, lots of cum.
Yeah.
If you said it last episode, if you're running out of horror movie talk episodes to watch, as I'm seeing people are actually doing, they're going back and listening to all of our podcasts all the way through. If you're running out of those, then hey, you got a whole nother year and a half worth of podcasts to catch up on Patreon.
Yeah.
So
special thanks to our new patrons, Scott S, JP, Fox McCloud, the famous Fox McCloud, and Natalie R for joining up and supporting the show. So check out our Patreon. Other ways you can support the show, you can check out the Horror Movie Talk swag shop at horrormovietalk.com/shop.
yeah, it's pretty
Pretty thick.
It's pretty thick over there. We have small sizes and also thick sizes.
Yeah, we've got our new T-shirts, our logo tees that have been flying off the shelves, as well as a bunch of stickers and based on our logo and artwork by Dustin Goebel.
Yeah, be on the lookout. So we sold out of most of our unisex sizes. That's basically just men's shirts sizes, and we're going to be replenishing those probably right around maybe next week. So be on the lookout for that. We'll mention that on our Facebook or Twitter or all of those things when we do have stock back in. They really fly off the shelves when they come in, so you guys are going to have to jump on that.
Yep. You can also support the podcast by buying or renting any movie or product on Amazon if you click through the green button in the header of our website. That website, again, is horrormovietalk.com. Check out our resident artist, Dustin Goebel. He's a professional artist who fucks hard. He also takes commissions for artwork from his HMT fans. So if you like the post photos and the artwork that accompanies every episode on our social media, that's all from the hardfucker, Dustin Goebel.
The hardfucker himself.
You can contact him.
Dustin Goebel! I love doing that. That's my favorite thing.
You can contact him at dgoebel00 on Instagram. That's at DGOEBEL00 on Instagram, and make your artistic dreams come true. Tell him HMT sent you. Thanks again for listening. Let's tell you about our voicemail number. It's 682-253-4468. Just want to put that in there again.
Yeah, we got to move that on our. We got to move where that's located in the midroll.
Yeah,
and we got the first part.
Yeah.
Call us at 682-253-4468 if you want to, get onto HMT Horrors, and then we can all laugh together.
All right, now let's get into spoilers. Spoilers.
Got a double voice.
Spoilers. All right. So,
hey, before we start, can I just kind of ask you, are you enjoying fall? It's beautiful outside. Everything everything outside has that beautiful orange color and then the ashes falling off the trees and out of the sky.
Yeah.
And it's got that nice,
lovely color of ash,
mesquite flavoring. Everything tastes like good old smoked up mesquite.
Yeah, if you don't know, we're recording from the Pacific Northwest, and if you haven't been following the news, around September 2020...
the dead center of the apocalypse.
Yeah. Literally, the entire state of Oregon is on fire. Pretty close to Portland.
The western part, which is abnormal. Normally, it's the eastern part of Oregon that's entirely on fire, and that's normal.
Yeah.
You
used to be a forest firefighter.
Right.
Like you would be out there doing the fighting of these fires.
Mm-hmm.
Tell the listeners what you told me about how contained this fire was
Oh.
as it was approaching
Zero.
major metropolitan areas.
Yeah, hardcore zero on that one. It's a really interesting series of events, right? So I'll try and give a brief synopsis of what happened for those of you who, who are concerned about our area of the country and should be, which is, so the western side of Washington and Oregon is typically pretty wet, pretty moist, damp.
It's a wet ass
Pussy. Pacific. And so normally, that was true, here up until the 7th, of September. Right now, I think we're recording this on the 12th, so we're not far away from the 7th. And what happened, there wasn't tremendous fire danger on the 6th. It was very standard. And then what happened was we had a huge wind event that a bunch of super, super dry air from the east came whipping through in in like 40 mile an hour gusts and 15 to 20 mile an hour sustained winds. And that just dried everything out here in a flash. It sucked all the moisture out of all of the fuels on the ground and set up perfect conditions for something like that. And then the wind continued.
Yeah.
It did not stop.
I don't know if you've ever blown on a campfire.
Just lights it right up.
Yeah, it doesn't not help it.
Right. Helps it a lot. Yeah. Oxygen helps fire. It's one of the three elements needed for combustion. You need a source of combustion, and then you need oxygen, and then you need a fuel. And so you take one of those away and you have no fire. But so we had really, really good conditions for fire, and it really took off.
Yeah.
And
how did you describe the Cascades to me? They
call the Cascades, they call big portions of the Cascades the asbestos forest because it does not burn. It is hard for it to burn because it's so wet here. So commonly. And there's a weird thing that's been going on over the last 100 years, which is fire suppression. Forests typically are allowed to burn, throughout. If you're looking at history, the whole of history, there's a lot of lightning strikes just commonly throughout the summer, and they start fires, and the forests are meant to burn. They're set up to burn. Well, over the last 100 years, we've been stopping that from happening. And so all these fuels build up and build up. There's lots of understory garbage in the forest that builds up over long periods of time. And then you have these events like this where the conditions are right, and then you get these ultra big ass fires, a lot of times called mega fires now we're not into mega fire territory yet here, but
what would qualify as a mega fire?
Devastating, like scorched earth fires.
Really?
Yeah.
This is not that?
No. A scorched earth, like a mega fires. If you're going to get them, this is the region to get them. And nothing survives. No trees at all. Not even old growth, really. Which we're not into that. You're going to see trees in the black zone bouncing back.
Interesting.
Yeah, trees. A lot of them will be fried, but then. Anyway, so long story short, really good conditions for fire here right now, and it looks like the apocalypse, and it smells like it too. Everybody's really worried about the air quality, and they're like, oh, I don't know, I just don't know. And if you're here in the Northwest, I can tell you with 100% certainty, if you've smoked a cigarette, then you've had a day like this before.
Right.
It's about the same as smoking maybe 2 or 3 cigarettes a day. Walking around, and a lot of people aren't used to that. Granted,
right? It's definitely like I can feel my chest right now, and like it's very congestive, but it's not, which is impressive because I'm not like usually in tune to that kind of stuff. But it is to the point that it's noticeable, and it does look like Blade Runner outside. Yeah, it really. That's the danger is truly people's the effect this will have on people's psyche. So, yeah, we even have at least one listener that I've talked to on the Facebook group whose house is definitely burned up. He lives in the, like, when I talked to him a couple days ago, his house was about 4 miles away from buildings that were burned to the ground.
Yeah, I know. I have some friends who had to evacuate Detroit in Oregon, and I don't know. I don't know if their stuff survived. I hope it. I hope it did. And yeah, our hearts go out. Prayers and love and peace and prayers.
Yeah. So, anyways, the apocalypse is happening, and we're watching horror movies. So we've already talked about how this is by James Wan and Lee Winnell. Lee Winnell, I didn't realize was the actor.
Yeah.
He was acting opposite Carrie Elwes.
Yeah, Elwes. Yules. Ghouls.
Yules. I should edit that. Ghouls. So what's really impressive with this is that it is a very simple premise.
Yeah.
And it feels like they're getting a lot out of very little. Not just like the concept, but also the budget. Like this feels, I don't know like what the budget actually was, but I mean, this was supposed to be a straight to video thing. So I'm sure it's not like a, $300 million project or anything. I think they did really well within the constraints that they set for themselves.
Yeah, I think, so there's kind of two ways to accomplish these sets. The impressive parts about this movie are the sets. And obviously the twisty-turny story. And you can accomplish the sets, the way Hollywood would, which is to, like, build them. Or you could rent out a fucking old broken down warehouse and, be like, oh yeah, this place is turning into a dump.
Right.
Maybe we can harvest that, so it would not surprise me if that's what they did. Please, if shut my mouth.
I'm sure they built it. I mean, that's the first thing that I wanted to talk about was the set of the room that they're stuck in.
Yeah.
It makes no sense to me. Like, what room is this? Like, it's supposed to be a bathroom, but the toilets and urinals are, like, spaced, like, all asymmetrically and, like, no rhyme or reason to them. And pipes are just everywhere.
Yeah, that's a good point. There's a tub, though.
Yeah, and a tub. There's a bathtub. So, like, it's got multiple toilets
on
and
different,
a urinal.
But the toilets aren't, like, lined up. They're, like, catty corner from each other.
Yeah.
And you can look at... Now, I mean, obviously, the partitions could have been removed.
Yeah, but
why?
You would think that... Yeah.
Was it like a bathhouse?
It's a huge room. It's like a...
It's got a bathtub.
It's like a tiny house worth of room, It's like 100 square feet, it feels like, this room.
Yeah. Well, no, it's bigger than that. 100 square feet is 10 by 10. So this is probably like 30 by 20.
Yeah.
It's not a huge room.
It's a huge bathroom, though.
Yeah, it's a big-ass bathroom.
So it's a huge bathroom that doesn't have enough toilets, but there's multiple in there, and they're not spaced logically.
But the tub, Bryce,
then there's a bathtub. What public toilet has a bathtub?
And I don't think there were sinks. There were mirrors.
Was there? Yeah, there was a mirror. No sinks.
I don't recall. The point
this is the weirdest room.
It's a very strange room.
So either it's the weirdest bathroom in the world, or Jigsaw constructed it and aged it.
Yeah. Yeah, like, went to it and was like...
Like, he built it 30 years ago and proceeded to use it every day.
Use it every day and not flush the toilet.
Yeah. But if there's any bathroom that this would represent, it would be a high school boys' bathroom.
Yeah. Yeah, it's harrowing.
I don't know what it's like now, but I remember... I told my wife about this, and she was just, like, shocked. There's something about boys' bathrooms in the public schools I went to, which aren't like shitty public schools. They're like suburban, thick.
That's walking around in the boys' bathroom in high school. Just
and boys are animals. I'm sure like they shit and just like rubbed it against the walls or just like
pubes everywhere.
But
little S's on the tile, little pubes just hamstrung all over the place.
The two things that stand out to me in retrospect are, one, there weren't any stall doors.
Yeah, right.
Like why? Like why? It seems like absurd to me now, thinking that they just had bathrooms without stall doors
to set you up for life.
And then two, there was never any soap in those bathrooms. Like,
yeah, you had to bring your own soap or something like that. Soap on a rope.
Well, they had
rope-a-dope.
They had like the powder soap where you like push up the little thing and it's supposed to fall out in a powder and you like scour your hands.
Yeah.
Like a prisoner. But like it would, it's pretty humid here in the Pacific Northwest, so that soap would just like congeal together. And so I'm sure it was just a solid block inside there and it didn't ever fall out.
Making me want to throw up.
So you think just an entire 2,000 little children with just shit on their hands constantly?
Yeah, this is you've described history. Like all of human history. It's just
is ready. Morning ready.
Is ready. Have you been catching any of the Drain Addicts lately?
I haven't watched it lately.
He just keeps ignoring me. I don't know what to do. I don't know. We need people to reach out to Drain Addict on YouTube and tell him to come on the show. I gotta interview this guy. I'm not giving it up. He could straighten us out on, maybe he knows why. Maybe he knows why there are no stall doors in the boys' bathroom in high school.
Like, I don't imagine, like, heroin is a big problem in suburban, like, Vancouver, Washington.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't have
90s.
any doors on our stalls either in Ridgefield.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah.
So it starts out, they find themselves in this absurd bathroom.
Chained to giant poop pipes. Big old poopy pipes.
The first thing that happens is the lights are turned on, and I got a kick out of how extremely Lee Winnell's character reacted to the fluorescent lights.
What is light?
It's like he had never seen light before.
Yeah.
Because can you imagine a more soft and like unimpressive light to turn on than fluorescent lights?
Yeah, it's like, that's easy.
Yeah.
Easy breezy.
I'm always disturbed by Cary Elwes when he talks with an American accent.
Yeah,
it's something's off about it.
For those of you who aren't familiar with Cary Elwes, he is the guy from The Princess Bride.
Yeah, he's Wesley from The Princess Bride.
Yeah. I don't know. What a strange career he had, because he really like knocked it out of the park with became an icon with Princess Bride. And then I recognized him and was like, The Princess Bride. You know, and through every little role that he had after that, which none of them were very impressive.
Yeah.
Except for this is probably his biggest one outside of Princess Bride.
He does a lot of like weird villain characters.
Yeah.
Lately, he's good, but yeah, it's always off-putting hearing the American accent. There's something about British actors when they have American accents.
Well, howdy, y'all.
No, it's not that. It's when they have like the British delivery or like attitude towards speaking, but it's in an American.
Would you like a cup of tea?
I don't know how to describe it, but it's very apparent when Cary Elwes talks with American accent or Hugh Laurie. Like when Hugh Laurie talks in House, it's like there's something weird. Like there's a different emphasis on English,
wrong syllables,
like, on just like how they use language.
What about Cucumber Patch? Does he do it too?
Cucumber Patch is pretty good. Like I seem to remember Doctor Strange. It wasn't terrible.
And who's the guy who plays Captain Winters in Band of Brothers? He does a really good job too.
He did really good.
Really good job.
Yeah. Like that was unrecognizable. The other one that's like the most impressive is
Daniel Radcliffe?
No, I forget his name.
Daniel Radcliffe's good though.
He played Stringer Bell on The Wire.
Is Daniel Radcliffe English?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. I couldn't remember.
Yeah. Yeah, look up who played Stringer Bell on The Wire real quick.
Okay.
That accent is the most ridiculously good, like, American accent of anyone from Britain. Like, it's crazy how good it is. I was shocked to hear that he was English.
Idris Elba.
Yeah, Idris Elba.
Yeah.
His American accent is, like, crazy good. I think he, like, shocked the hell out of the directors or producers of The Wire when they realized that he wasn't American.
Wow.
Because it was, like, super spot on. Yeah. So that's a little weird. So they're locked in this bathroom. It's super hot and sweaty.
Mom spaghetti.
But it's got a new clock. They notice right away, and that's significant because clocks tell time. And
real exciting stuff.
There's a time element. So they find out, the whole thing is described to them by Jigsaw on these tapes. Remember tapes?
Yeah. Yeah, little cassette tapes. Mm-hmm. And a little cassette tape recorder.
I need to return my cassette tapes.
I'll find it.
So it basically pits them against each other. The basic premise between the two of them is Adam, played by Lee Winnell, is basically told, watch yourself die or do something about it. And then Dr. Gordon, played by Carrie Yules, is told to kill Adam by 6 o'clock or your wife and kid will die. So it's not simply done since they're chained to rusty pipes that they can't get out of. But, they're supposed to saw off their feet and kill each other or whatever. And then there's a dead body in the middle of the room.
Yeah.
That they just kind of look at and they're like, oh, well, that's spooky. And then never...
It's got a gun next to it.
Yeah.
Clearly he's blown his brains out. The tape says there's only one thing left to do when you have that much poison in your blood.
Yeah.
Referring to the body on the floor, which it insinuates, well, he had to kill himself with the gun.
Right. Or, if you have that much poison in your blood, you can just die of poison.
That's the other thing you can do, yeah.
You don't have to shoot yourself in the head.
Right.
There's always a chance that you might survive the poison.
Well, I mean, and then there's the third option, which is you can put on a bunch of prosthetics and pretend to be dead. That's the other thing you could do.
Or you could use the gun and shoot out of the room.
Yeah. So actually, there's a lot of options.
There's a lot of options you can do when you've got that much poison in your blood.
But the killer had a narrative, and he wanted to push it, so he did so.
So can we try, just from memory? I didn't write all this down. Can we try to unravel the plot of this? So full spoilers.
I cannot.
So the killer, Jigsaw, is a cancer patient of Dr. Gordon. And
of Dr. Gordon, of Carrie Yules.
And the attendee, janitor or something, or was he a nurse or something?
Yeah, one of the other hospital
played
people.
by the guy from Lost. His name's Zepp, and he was
the fall guy.
He was like the fall guy, and was told by Jigsaw to murder,
to play by the rules. You have to keep these people on their schedule, right?
Yeah.
So you got Carrie Yules in the room, and you got Lee Winnell in the room, and they have to act out the thing that they're told to act out in a certain amount of time, or else you, Zed, or whatever, Zep, it's otherwise it falls on you to kill one or both of them, or let them go, according to whether or not they followed the rules.
And kill Dr. Gordon's wife and child.
Right. So according to, what ends up happening in the allotted amount of time, follow the rules of the game. So, or else, I'm not sure what happened. What would happen to Zepp if he didn't follow through? Doom of some variety.
Yeah.
That wasn't clear to me what the stakes were for Zepp.
I can't remember. So set up, and then Adam, Lee Winnell's character, was a private eye hired to track him,
Carrie Ewells,
and found him in a seedy motel room, supposedly cheating on his wife, but
talking
he doesn't.
to a lady.
Dr. Gordon decided against it.
I didn't have sex with her. Damn it!
Wow, that's a really good.
Yeah,
that's a really good impression of him.
Yeah, it was that piece of acting drew me right out. I was like, wow, he's really bad at acting.
It's the American accent.
I didn't have sex with her. Damn it! It's like, whoa, okay, you slaughtered that.
And then there's the detective coming after Jigsaw,
Danny Glover,
and
he's been after Jigsaw for a while.
Right.
He's got the neck scar to prove it.
Is there anyone else in the plot in terms of like who's the guy in the chair when Danny Glover comes upon Jigsaw?
Comes upon Jigsaw's hiding place?
Yeah.
Who is that guy in that chair?
Was that related to what's going on in the bathroom at all?
I don't know. He was a test subject who was meant to be sacrificed for a greater good. So apparently, I may be wrong about this. I hope I'm not, but I think that guy was literally just going to get sacrificed to test a new toy. So apparently you can be killed by Jigsaw. He is a killer sometimes.
Right. Yeah, I like how they set it up, and in the trailer too, they're like, he's not technically a murderer because he gets people to kill themselves. And I'm like, I'm not sure that's how the law works. Like, if you set people up in a
mousetrap,
murder trap, that they have to either get themselves out
or die.
That's not really killing themselves.
Right, no. Yeah.
That's kind of murder.
Oh, you put a giant device over a girl's head that is meant to explode her head, basically, like rip her jaw off of her head.
And then set the timer and walked away with no way for her to get out other than kill another person.
That's on her.
Yeah.
That's really on her.
Wow. Well,
you gave her options. She chose to kill the guy and pull the key out of his tum-tum.
Yeah, so if that was really like how they set it up to where Jigsaw would never be able to be prosecuted, because it's like somehow he, within the concept of the film, he destroyed all evidence that pointed to him.
Yeah.
That would have been interesting.
Yeah.
It would have been interesting having like an actual serial killer that gets away by making it seem like they kill themselves voluntarily. But that's definitely not what this is. It's definitely like someone with a master plan of torturing and murdering people.
Yeah.
By getting them to torture and murder themselves or others.
I think the thing that stuck with people with Saw is the concept of making people grateful for the life that they have by enacting tremendous trauma upon them.
Yeah, that's what like the moral to the story that Jigsaw's trying to tell is like, well, you know, if you don't appreciate life, then you know you should die, and you will appreciate life when it's
when I enact my master plan upon you.
Right. And it really is basically the same scene in Fight Club where Tyler Durden holds up that convenience store clerk. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I pulled a clip.
I mean,
What are you doing? Come on.
Patch on your back?
God.
Give me your wallet. Raymond K. Hessel, 1320 Southeast Banning, Apartment A. Small, cramped basement apartment, Raymond.
How did you know?
Because they give shitty basement apartments letters instead of numbers. Raymond, you're going to die. Is that your mom and dad? Mom and dad are going to have to call up kindly Dr. So-and-so. Dig up your dental records. Want to know why? Because there's going to be nothing left to face.
Oh, come on.
An expired community college student ID. What'd you study, Raymond? Stuff? Were the midterms hard? I asked you what you studied.
Biology mostly.
Why?
I don't know.
What did you want to be, Raymond K. Hessel? The question, Raymond, was what did you want to be?
Answering, Raymond. Jesus.
Veterinarian. Animals.
Yeah, animals.
Stuff, yeah, I got that. That means you have to get more schooling.
Too much school.
Would you rather be dead?
No.
Would you rather die here, on your knees, in the back of a convenience store?
No, please, no.
I'm keeping your license. Gonna check in on you. I know where you live. If you're not on your way to becoming a veterinarian in 6 weeks, you will be dead. Now run on home. Run, Forrest, run!
I feel ill.
Imagine how he feels.
Come on, this isn't funny. That wasn't funny. What the fuck was the point of that?
Tomorrow will be the most beautiful day of Raymond Chaos's life. His breakfast will taste better than any meal you and I have ever tasted.
You had to give it to him.
Come on.
He had a plan, and it started to make sense in a Tyler sort of way.
Started to make sense in a Jigsaw sort of way.
Yeah, I think the best version of this concept, or my favorite version of this concept, is Javier Bardem's character in No Country for Old Men, where, you know, he basically plays
God.
Plays God or
random chance.
Yeah, plays the role of random chance and tells people to call it, you know, and bases all of his decisions on a coin toss. And he's like, when he's talking to that old man in that gas station in the middle of nowhere, and he's like, well, it's time to call it. And the guy goes, I need to know what I'm putting up if I'm going to call it. And he goes, oh, you've been putting it up your entire life. It's time for you to actually put up.
Right.
And the guy's like, I don't know what you mean. He's like, yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. I'm going to kill you if you don't get this coin flip. And I really like the clean version of that, where there's no attempt at explanation on the back end or the front end, which is what Saw and Fight Club both do, where they're like, that guy's going to be grateful for his life in the end, and he's going to have the best day ever tomorrow. And it's like, just do the thing. Just show the interaction and leave it at that, and I can do it myself.
I just realized right now that this was basically the original escape room.
Yeah.
It's them in this room with the way to get out, but they got to figure it out.
Yeah. Oh, man.
You got to find the little, like the heart written in shit on the toilet. They got to find where the X marks the spot.
Got to dig around in that shit.
Like, yeah. So it's basically, this is a prequel to Escape Room.
Hi, little squirrel. There's little squirrels outside your window.
Oh, hey ho, I call it squirrel. Well, they said you were hungry, Carly.
I don't think it's a squirrel.
It's a mink.
Really, how do you know?
Probably ran over it.
In medical school, they make you work on animal cadavers before you get to the real thing. It's a mink.
This is how you know you're getting good at drops. When real life starts happening outside the window and you have a drop ready for it. Hey, there's a squirrel outside. Oh, hey ho, I called it. Squirrel.
The French.
Some other notable things that it tells a bunch of other kind of like stories of Jigsaw and like the traps that he set for other people as they're investigating these murders. And the one super iconic one is the girl in the headgear that's a bear trap, like a reverse bear trap.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to get out of it, she has to find the key inside the supposedly dead man's stomach.
Yeah, the guy has been given an overdose of painkillers, opiates, and so he can't really feel or understand what's happening, but he is alive. And she murders him to death.
Yeah, so that is super iconic, that headgear, and I got to think that they do that on the other Saw movies too. Like, I feel like I've seen that a couple times, like a giant headpiece kind of feel.
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, really what this movie accomplishes is that feeling of
to the no.
And where you're put in a situation that is as bad as it can be. And you're there with that poor victim who has to, like, you know, tunnel their way out of razor wire.
Yeah. So, okay, here's a question for you. If you were put in one of these situations where it's explicit, like, live or die, it's your choice. Like, what would you tunnel through the razor wire?
This is just Monday for me. Yeah. Would I tunnel through the razor wire to save my life?
Or would you, you know, cut a key out of someone's stomach, or would you murder someone else?
Yeah.
You would?
Uh-huh.
Nah, I wouldn't. Just be like, all right, well, I guess I'm getting murdered today.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I'm not gonna... If it's apparent that, like, okay, I've got to kill someone, or I will most likely get killed by myself by my attempt, then just be like, all right, well, I guess I'll just get murdered.
Wouldn't you want to say you tried? You got kids, you know, you got a dog. What about Meg?
It's true, but
and to say nothing of your wife.
That sounds like a real big hassle.
Well, yeah, it's a huge hassle. It's probably the biggest hassle you'll ever face.
Right. Like, the odds are not in your favor to survive. So I'd just be like, all right, well, I hope they catch him because I'm going to die pretty soon.
Really?
I don't know. Maybe that's the.
I think you'd have to be placed in the scenario to really understand that. This is just like when people who are looking to kill themselves jump off a bridge, and
right.
then the endorphins kick in, and they're like, I gotta live. And it's not that they are sobered up and realized that their life is suddenly worth living. Yeah. It's literally a chemical response to the situation.
Sure.
They got so many endorphins pumping through their brain that their chemistry changes into fight or flight, and they almost always choose fight.
Yeah, I mean, I think I could definitely say if it required me to murder someone else, I definitely would not do it, because I'd be like, all right, well, if someone's going to get murdered, it'll be me, you know?
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think I'd kill him pretty quick.
And then the other one is just like, yeah, I don't know. I'd probably try.
The hardest part to make out, the hardest part would be deriving the seriousness of the situation.
Right.
That would be the hardest part. Is this a fucking dream, or like what's actually happening? That would be the hardest part for me to get over, is like, okay, I understand that you say the only way out of here is to kill this guy. But what exactly is my situation? Is this actually as dire as you say? Are people just playing a prank on me? Like, it's too hard. It would be hard to come to terms with that within the amount of time that he gives you.
Yeah.
So that's really my confounding factor that I think of. I go, would I be able to derive the seriousness and understand it? And my gut is, oh yeah. Like, I'd be so fucking flighty. It would just be, yeah, I'd do it right away.
Well, there you go.
There you go. There you go.
Was it? So yeah. No, what am I going to talk about? Okay, there's another scene that like pulled me out, and this comes off of our recent review of Sinister, with the weirdest interaction between husband and wife in Sinister, where she's like,
I'm going to leave you if you don't.
Oh, I'm going to leave you if you're not successful anymore. And, you know, I still love you, but I will leave you and take your children if you don't succeed.
And he's like,
okay. Well, that's good. I will. Don't worry about that.
Sweetie. Good news. I'm really going to make it.
I'm not going to fail this time. So there's a similar scene in this movie. Before you know, like, anything, Dr. Gordon's wife, like, after there's a sweet scene where he puts his daughter to bed and, like, soothes her, she comes out and starts yelling at him. The wife starts yelling at him, saying, how can you walk through life pretending you're happy?
Oh, yeah.
Like, what a weird conversation for a husband and a wife to have. Like, even if your wife was, had suspicions that you were unhappy, like, that would not be the approach you would take. It was like, I wish you would stop acting like you're happy.
See, this is the problem. Is your sense, your your sense of women is skewed. Because you have a very reasonable, kind-hearted, good person that you're married to. There are some bitches out there, some trifling bitches, that would do this to you in a goddamn heartbeat.
Yeah, it's just so, I mean...
Trifling bitches.
Trifling. Yeah, I guess that's it. It's just trifling.
Dude, hardcore. Because there are bitches out there who would... you see that long-suffering stare in a lot of old men's eyes when their wife starts talking and they're like, oh, yeah.
Oh, I can't sneeze now.
Yeah, where they're like...
oh, nice, Ron.
Nice, Ron. You scared the deer. Yeah, where, like, these guys... Literally, when their wife isn't talking, they like escape into like a shadow realm where their wife doesn't exist, and they're like happy for brief moments throughout their day. And then when their wife starts talking, they're snapped back into reality, and they're like, "Oh yeah,
oops, there goes gravity.
This is my life.
Yeah.
I remember now."
Yeah, and then she falls.
Hey, there's terrible dudes out there too. There's bad people, is what we're talking about. Women aren't bad. There are bad women, though.
Right.
And there are bad guys.
Yeah.
And we don't...
Yeah.
Don't suffer trifling
She
people.
follows it up with, I'd rather you break down and tell me you hate me. At least there would be some passion in it.
And he's like...
And then I was like, oh, okay, well, there it is. That's what she cares about, is the passion. She just wants to get fucked real hard. She wants some passion.
A little taste. A little taste.
All right. There's a scene that really reminded me of Black Christmas. That eye in the closet right before he attacks Dr. Gordon's girl. Do you remember that scene?
Yeah.
That's very much...
That's an homage.
Straight
kind of
from Black Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah, that was actually a really good scene in this movie. That worked really well. I was like, goo! Yeah, that was gross.
All right, so if you were in this bathroom, what would you do in this situation?
Get a tetanus shot.
Like, if you're faced with, like, okay, you got the saw, it's dull, like, you can either saw through your leg or not. Like, could you find any alternative solutions just within what you're shown?
I assume you did.
I think so.
You found something?
I mean, there'd be some stuff I'd definitely try.
I didn't think about this very hard. It's a good question because I'd love to. I should have sat down and thought about that a little bit, but yeah, I'm interested to hear what would you do?
Yeah. So they got a toilet there. It's made of porcelain. Couldn't you break that and use the porcelain to sharpen the saw? Aren't there like porcelain sharpeners?
I don't know. I don't. You know, it would make sense because porcelain is kind of a stone. It's I mean, it's that or the tile. You know, there's plenty of tile all around. You can. I mean, whetstones are a thing, but
even that X marks the spot thing was made of tile.
You can't sharpen a saw because a saw isn't a single blade. It's a lot of tiny blades.
Right. And, but you got like 6 hours, right?
You just dull the saw. I mean, you'd turn it into a knife is what you would do.
Well, I mean, you go in each little...
The tines on these pipe cutting saws are minuscule. You can't...
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're itty bitty. Yeah, the tines are so teeny tiny that, yeah, you wouldn't be able to sharpen this variety of a saw.
Yeah. See,
these saw blades are literally disposable.
Mm-hmm.
They're not sharpened.
Could it actually saw through a leg though? If it couldn't saw through a pipe, like would it be able to get through bone?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like I can't think that you wouldn't still be able to saw through a pipe.
Oh, your bone is like soft wood. It's not even. You know, it's very.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, it's. Oh, yeah. You can get through that.
Yeah. I feel like there's alternative solutions that could have gotten at, but...
There may be. My guess is the alternative solutions would be leverage situations.
Or just getting... Yeah, leverage
breaking the chain via or bending the chain, each of one of the links open. Although this looked like pretty heavy dude. This looked like welded links.
Right. But also there's a gun in the middle of the room, and they did get the tape recorder.
Yeah.
Couldn't you just shoot off the chain? Maybe
you could shoot off your foot. I don't know.
Actually, the weak link is probably the
lock,
the cuff. Like the handcuff.
Yeah, maybe the cuff, or actually, no. I think it would be the lock. I bet you could. I bet you could blow the lock apart with the gun.
Yeah, you just need to watch one of those lock-picking lawyer videos.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
He. So have you seen some of his his funny stuff that's intended to be funny?
Yeah, it's great.
Oh my God, he's where he's talking about getting into his wife's box.
Yeah,
her box, and she's like, yeah, hang on, what is this?
Thank you, Daddy.
Yeah, she'd say thank you, Daddy.
Anyways, I feel like they weren't really problem solvers, is all I'm saying.
No, they were definitely talkers and complainers.
Yeah. And then they're only in there for a couple hours, but even before Dr. Gordon cuts his leg off and gets all the blood loss, he looks super haggard. Halfway through the film, just beleaguered and raccoon-eyed and pale.
Well, once he's given the stakes, I can understand that. You realize your family's on the line.
Yeah, I guess so.
I'd be fucking beside myself.
Right, but physically, he looks like he's been in there and starving for a week.
Yeah. Okay, I see where you're going. Yeah.
It's it's just been a couple hours, Just get a hold of yourself.
Maybe he's diabetic.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. Anyways, then he cuts off his foot, and then he's like an instant ghost from the blood loss. He's a completely different. That part does work. The part where Cary Elwes goes crazy and cuts off his foot.
Oh yeah, very intense.
Yeah, very intense. And then I love that you can see the shape of his foot inside his pants leg in the preceding scenes.
Oh, you can?
I mean, it's pretty obvious that
okay.
they just got a longer pant leg and pretty foot-shaped pant leg there.
Oh, you'd be nice. It must have been one of those special effects that was too expensive to show.
Right. And then finally, the big reveal is that after all the fallout happens, that the body in the middle of the room gets up, and he was alive the whole time.
See you later, buddy.
He was there the whole time.
Which is another thing, not only are they not problem solvers, they're not very perceptive, because you'd think that sitting in there for several hours, you would notice someone breathing.
So I thought about that, and I thought, well, maybe he did drug himself into a coma state. There are ways to suspend your disbelief.
Yeah, but then you would have less control over your breathing.
I mean, maybe, I gave him the Ibogaine route, and that shallows your breathing to a point that's almost imperceptible and throws you into a state of hibernation.
They should have thrown in, in the middle of the movie, one random sneeze. They'd be like, "Did you sneeze? No. Did you? No." Just and then they're just really suspicious of each other. Why did he lie about the sneeze?
Why did he lie? That would have been, oh my God, that would have given this movie a whole nother point. Maybe 2 points. If they did that, I would never utter an ill word about Saw. That's brilliant.
But when he stands up, it is a great what moment. It's and they play it perfectly. He just kind of stands up, rips off this prosthetic from his face, and he's stretches out, and he's all right.
Wow.
Saunters on out. See you later, boys.
See ya.
Yeah. So really, to sum this up, this movie plays on our worst fears, which is cancer patients.
Yeah. No, what? Wait, what? They're always out to get you. And they're really capable, too.
Yeah.
They're not crippled by their cancer.
Oh, man, I thought I had to drop. Never mind.
The French.
Did you think I'm retarded?
No,
Daniel.
I was thinking of the, it gets scarier when they touch me.
Yeah.
All right, so that's Saw. We saw Saw.
Seesaw.
Go see Saw. Now let's get into horror movie.
Say it. Say the word.
Horrors.
Whoor.
All right, so this is where we check our voicemail. Oh, well, yeah. Would you final recommendations, I guess?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Final recommendations. I mean, Saw is a classic. It started a movement.
Yeah.
Kind of. And it's a pretty impressive movie considering, this came out a year after Wrong Turn, which is really uninspired, just hot garbage that just, and this has a cool concept. It doesn't hold up well to time necessarily, but a lot of the sequels are actually pretty impressive as well. I didn't remember this as a bad movie, and I don't think it is a bad movie. It's just didn't hold my attention very well. If you're into slashers, you'll like this movie, I imagine.
Yeah, I think like between Saw and Hostel, it like launched the whole torture porn like era.
Yeah, era
in horror movies.
Yeah.
So it's definitely worth seeing.
Is Hostel Eli Roth?
Yes.
And is both of them Eli Roth? Do you know?
Hostel 2?
Yeah.
I would think, but I don't know.
Okay.
Okay, so let's get into horror movie. So, this is where we check our voicemail. That voicemail, again, is at
682-253-4468. Ring that up. You get a voicemail. You can leave us a message. Ask us about all kinds of crazy crap. Ask us about our opinion on horse.
Horse?
Horse.
If that number's too hard to remember, just remember 682-253-4HMT. Does that work?
That's all you got to do.
Yeah.
It's very easy.
Yeah, it's way easier.
Is that a raincoat? Yes, it is.
All right, so a couple voicemails. Let's listen in.
See what we got.
Hey,
you got to do all of them because I don't have horrors on the one we're going to record after this. So.
Okay, yeah, I got it.
Do them all.
So this was on Monday.
We're going to be backed up.
Yeah.
Hey, this is your boy Jason. David, got some little concerning news here. I don't know why, but secretly Bryce has been messaging me saying that he oddly likes it and gets turned on whenever you take your shirt off during the podcast. I mean, I know on the show he says he doesn't like when you do that, but according to some of the messages I've been receiving, he secretly does. So, I mean, come on, just show him a little tit.
Well, we got good news for you.
Give him a little tit for the day.
He's showing me both titties right now.
I got good news for you. About halfway through this episode, I did have to take off my shirt. It's becoming very common.
Yeah. Yeah, right now we don't have the AC on because it's just going to blow in acrid smoke into our house.
No. The air conditioner conditions the air.
Well,
you got to change your filter there, Bryce.
We got to change it.
Oh, God.
Whatever. We just have the fan going. All right. Not true.
You're not aroused right now?
I would prefer, maybe we can get you like a wife beater, like just like a tank top that you can wear.
I don't know.
Even like a...
this bothers you that much?
I mean, I would prefer not to see your nipples, but
What are you talking about? I mean, this is the thing.
I don't mind, but
here's the deal.
I do mind.
Like, here's the deal. Men walk around without shirts all the time. It's very common.
Sure.
I do.
Outside.
Inside. I barely ever have a shirt on at my house.
Okay.
Barely ever have pants on. Usually it's just underwear.
That's true. but I usually have an undershirt on. Maybe that's just my thing.
It's your Mormon thing.
Yeah, it is my Mormon thing.
Don't try and indoctrinate me into your religion.
All right, here's another one from Jason.
Hey, this is Jason. I just wanted to let you know, Bryce, that David's right. 7 is a horror film. I count it as psychological horror, and I'm not taking any other answers. So, yeah, there you hear it. Jason said that it is a horror film, and it's final. David is right. David wins. And no, I'm not a paid sponsor. Well, actually, I am, technically.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, several people have commented on the 7 post in the Facebook group that they do agree with me. And one said, like, well, they weren't on board until they heard my rationale, which is...
several.
Yeah, several.
At least 4.
I mean, just because you're in the minority doesn't mean you're not right.
I mean, I will agree entirely with that, actually, because it just comes down to how it strikes you. There is no objective reality. We're all just subject to how things hit us and our reactions to them.
Yep. Here's one from Manny, a local to Vancouver.
Oh yeah. Manny left us the best message last time. I told everybody, be like Manny.
Here's another one from Manny.
Hey guys, it's me, Manny again. I just finished up your 7 review. Really loved that episode. I was glad to hear myself on it. And I understand you guys don't really have the energy to really respond or know what to say after those things, but I totally respect that, and that's okay. And what really matters is that you guys, heard my opinion, and that you guys just know how I feel about your show. That's what really all matters. And I also wanted to be back up to Brian to say that 7's not really a horror movie. Like, it does have some themes of it, but it's not a horror movie. It's more of like a crime and mystery movie. The only horror theme I got was from the intro. It kind of felt a little bit of Jigsaw and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, just by the coloring of the original one. And, the first case, whatever, the guy that was a big dude, all shit, that kind of reminded me of a scene from a future, Saw movie where, this big guy's, trapped in this barbed wire trap and he's trying to escape, and that's about it, and also, the person that we thought was dead just, randomly wakes up. That's one thing I thought was horror, but yeah, I back up with Brian saying that this isn't really not a horror movie. It's really nice. Just a crime mystery movie. And I'll talk to you guys later, and have a nice day.
First of all, Manny, thank you for your message. I appreciate you, buddy. And we'll talk to anybody who comes at us on social media.
I can't remember what we said in the last episode when we played his message. If we were like, all right, we're done.
Well, we talked to him since then, plenty. Yeah, but I like his message, and I'll tell you why. He's like, this is no horror movie, except for this part, and this part, and this part, and this part over here. And and this part that right here, it's not but other than these 7 parts, the 7 parts of the movie that 7 has, not a horror movie. And it's okay.
Right.
And I mean, what, are you going to get your affirmation from a segment called Whoooorres? These people are just whores.
Well, I like it because he agreed with me, and I like that he called me Brian. And then it's always a question. It's always a question of are they in on the joke, or is that legitimately he's calling me Brian? Because it's both things are equally as likely.
Well, I mean, sometimes Ben, our English news guy, we'll look for him on next week's episode. Sometimes I don't know that he knows our names.
Well, he knows my name. What did he call you? I can't remember. Was it Mike?
John.
That's right. John.
I don't have the heart to tell him what my...
I think we did tell him.
No.
Well, on the last one, didn't we?
No, we didn't.
Oh.
I don't know that he knows.
Okay. All right. This is my favorite of the bunch.
Okay.
Did you listen to any of these?
I didn't listen to any of these.
You're going to love this.
Hi, Bryce. Hello, David. I am one of your normal male and all female fans. I enjoy your podcast very much. Ha ha. It is great. Much fun. I also agree with that cool Swedish guy, Magnus or whatever. He is right. You should review the movie Rats from 1984. Okie dokie. I must go now. Keep up the good work. Goodbye.
You fucking crafty Swedish bitch. Magnus, leave me alone. Stop bothering me about rats. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, I don't know. We haven't.
It's mostly on social media.
We haven't brought up Magnus in a couple episodes. Magnus is our Swedish super fan. He's a hunky guy. You should take a look at him. He's good. He's good to look at if you're a lady or a guy. But for the last couple months, so he bothered us and bothered us and bothered us and bothered us to review Bye Bye Man, and it was a fucking train wreck, and I hated it. And
that was our last Netflix party, I think.
Yeah, I think it was. And now he's just been on us about Rats, which is a movie from 1984, and I can only imagine that. I mean, he went to great lengths to disguise that it was him. But I imagine
I am one of your male and or female fans. I love that.
Oh man!
But if we do watch Rats, we'd be able to use a lot of Ratty clips, though.
Oh, Ratty! Oh man, can you imagine being named something like Magnus? How great would that be?
Yeah, Magnus is. I think like Swedes, like the whole Nordic region has some of the most badass names.
Oh, it's on. Yeah, it's.
There's something about like Hans or Lars. You're like, that guy is big.
Thor. Yeah, it's like, man. If I had a boy, I would definitely go Norse with the name.
Yeah,
I mean, you just can't beat like
Eston.
Okay, what? Now,
all right. So last voicemail.
I don't want to review Rats.
Yeah, we don't want to review Rats. So we've got, well, I guess as of the playing of this, we've already had our recent Netflix party.
Oh yeah,
and we had I couldn't decide on what movie to watch, so I posted a bunch of choices and asked the Facebook group to vote for it.
It's pretty fucking close.
And it's one of those things where like I immediately regretted including Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
It's the perfect Netflix
It is
party.
the perfect one, and people have been asking for it forever. But I just dread watching that movie. So I just don't. I feel like I know what I'm getting into, and I'm not a big fan. But yeah, it's dead. It's like a dead heat between
Silence of the
Lambs. Killer Clowns and Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah.
So we'll see what we had at the Netflix party. We're going to try to do a Netflix party every month.
That's tonight.
That's, it's tonight as of the recording.
As of the recording of this, yeah, so you've missed it.
We could check where we're at right now on the...
yeah, let's see where we are at.
It's really impressive because it is literally like one vote away every time I check.
Impressive. Very nice.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I know what you mean about the dread of having to watch some dorky fucking movie like Killer Clowns from Outer Space, but I mean, it's culturally significant. It is a cult classic, and lots of people remember it fondly from their childhood.
Right now, it's 41 for Killer Clowns from Outer Space and 41 for Silence of the Lambs.
So I told people that we would live stream a YouTube video of us flipping a coin if it ends up in a dead heat.
Yeah.
And that's going to happen today at noon.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Okay.
If it is a dead heat.
Okay.
So, but otherwise, the votes are closed at noon today. It's but as of recording, so this is long past if you're listening to this. But
yeah. So,
which one of those would you actually have wanted it to land on?
Silence of the Lambs, definitely.
Because we have Killer Clowns, we have Silence of the Lambs, Creep, Green Inferno, and Hush.
I think I'm actually interested in watching all of them except for Killer Clowns.
Wow.
I think like Silence of the Lambs is classic. There's no going wrong with that. It's been a while since I saw it.
So long.
Creep and Hush are both great movies that I would like to watch with other people. Green Inferno I haven't seen, and 1922 I haven't seen, but I've heard enough about them that I'm really curious.
I'm surprised you're so passionate about Silence of the Lambs, considering by your definition it's not really a horror movie.
I
think it is. I
never said Silence of the Lambs.
By your definition.
I never said Silence of the Lambs.
You never said those words, but you defined Seven and it's basically the same movie as Seven.
No, there's a difference because there's a threat that's imminent and you are empathetic towards the victim.
Wrong.
Yeah. Had a long debate with, who was it in chat? Was it JP? I can't remember. Someone in chat I had like a long debate with about what defines the horror movie genre in terms of like the thing. Well, I listen to the 7 episode. I go into detail.
To be honest with you, I'm kind of done with the argument.
Well, I know you said that last time, but I'll tell you what, like it's still super compelling to a lot of our listeners.
Yeah, sure. But really though, it's kind of fucking. It's like.
I agree to disagree.
I don't agree to that.
So, did I play the last one? Oh no, I didn't play the last one. Here's the last voicemail.
Have you ever been in a shower with another man and you see the soap suds running down the crack of his ass and you just think, I got to get me some of that.
What? That was... Yay! That's my favorite voicemail of all time. Can we make that into a drop? I think that's drop worthy.
We could.
Can I hear that one more time?
That's got to be... I'm curious where that's from, because I'd be impressed if that's the actual person or if that's not like a clip from something.
Play it again.
Have you ever been in a shower with another man and you see the soap suds running down the crack of his ass and you just think, I got to get me some of that.
Wow.
All right, so that's the voicemail. That's Horror Movie Horror. Thanks for listening to Horror Movie Talk. If you like the show, please leave us a review or rating on Apple Podcasts. Support the show.
Sorry.
Support the show by going to horrormovietalk.com. You can either buy swag in our shop. You can either buy stuff from Amazon that you're already going to buy, but just click through the button in our header, or become a patron and vote for movies like Saw to make us watch. Until next time, I'm Bryce Hanson.
And I'm Professor David saying, we love you. Bye.
Bye.
Looking for a podcast full of burps and gas, perverted cast, skinny and fat? Look no further. Horror Movie Talk is accidentally funny, begs to donate money, fake sponsors for dummies, and so much more. New episodes every hump day. They'll pickle your dickle for foreplay. Patreon members have it your way. Vote for a movie every month for the review. Choppa choppa, don't just stare at it, eat it like a taco. Put your tongue through the phone, hoodie, Picasso. Look at them hot kids, swear not a pedo. Got me too'd with Cosby eating jello. Pudding Pops done gave Bryce flatulence. Drain addict Dave doesn't give a shit. 1 through 10, is it horrible or excellent? Oil me up, daddy, is dinner rum. Kiss, Bryce Hanson. Look at them hot kids, Chris Henson. Masturbate with a crucifix, exorcist. Face huggers, chest bursters, alien. Linda Blair peed on Sigourney Weaver. I know it's true cause it came from social media. Patrick Bateman can't understand you. Stab you to death for rotten apple reviews. Opinionated podcaster with a doctorate. Spookology, doctor of philosophy. Bad gastritis, need colostomy. Turn Patreons into human centipede. David Doobie Day, scare him, no expert. And Goble fucks hard, professional sexpert. Afterpod taglines and porno flicks. American Psycho, them guys pretty sick. Choppa choppa, don't just stare at it, eat it like a taco. Put your tongue through the phone, hoodie, Picasso. flatulence. Train addict Dave doesn't give a shit. 1 through 10, is it horrible or excellent? Oil me up, daddy, is dinner rumps. Nothing good happens in the woods. Always get more than you bargain for. Got a pickle to dickle, machines tickle bitties. Killer on the phone, ain't no Sharon Stone. Vancouver, Portland, Oregon, and organs. Corona, COVID, curse, Lorona. Green River Killer, because reasons. Hallway of poop monster kids screaming. Ain't your ordinary dingleberry itinerary. 30-day shutter and jump scares ain't fucking scary. Time for the spoilers with jokes and tropes. Use their white socks to catch their loads. To show them one titty, pretty. Paganism you should worship, they Teflon dicks. Pacific Northwest, let them see one breast. Shifty ass, stay spooky, poor man's digress. Bugsy, HMT, horror movie talk. Hold on, they don't like Halloween. Fuck them.
That is inspired. That's awesome. Did you see Saw? I was like, yeah. I almost answered it. Did you see Saw? We all saw Saw.
All right. I'm going to let this run for like